Tell 'em run it off.
What is going on? What is going on, everybody in the house? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off.
What is going on? What is going on? Let me make sure that everything is in focus because it does not feel like it is. It's acting a little weird today. I'm a little more shallow than I normally am, but that's okay. That's okay. So, sorry I am late today. I had some what did I have to do? I had some things that going on yesterday and I'm congested because I literally just woke up. I didn't even get to bed till like 4 a.m. So just woke up, a little congested. I'm fine. I'm just congested. Weather is funny out here right now. But I yesterday I DJed at an event, which wasn't the issue. It was a nightclub that's actually shutting down. This is like the last month of this. So I took my turntables are underneath this desk. That's where they are. So I took the table off and I went to start using it, and I knew I had to update my phase because I hadn't used my phase in a while, and had to take off. Took my camera, took my table, and took my phases, and as I was taking everything off, the microphone slipped out. Like right now, it's not even balanced. I'm like holding on to it. The microphone slipped out, fell off my desk. So it was not broken, but it was, separated into many pieces. My table was off. So I had no table, I had no lights. My camera wasn't set up because I brought my camera with me to the event. Just a lot of stuff. And so when I walked in here, already late because I didn't get to bed till late. I walked in here and I'm like, I don't have anything set up. So anyway, I am slowly working through clearing out my voice. I have some warm stuff here. It'll clear it all out and then we'll be good to go. But for some of you, I don't know, maybe you like the Barry White sound. Who knows? Anyway, wake up in Cleveland. Or Tech Thursday, I should say. As I'm talking to you, I'm trying to get my thing to balance out here. I got to get a new table. That's the next thing on my list. Sooner than later. Just because this isn't working for me. I'll get it soon enough. Anyway. Today's Tech Thursday. We're going to talk about tech. Talk about everything DJ related. So if there's anything that's on your mind, if you have any pressing questions, you know what to do. Hit that hashtag ask in the chat. That way I know which questions are there. So for anybody that does not know, because I know I made the announcement, I think it was Monday, going on Tuesday, on the Mackie video that I posted. With the Mackie 212 and 115 sub, there is a giveaway happening. All you have to do is, obviously go to the video, watch the video, leave some comments there, and then make sure you are following me on all of my social media, especially Instagram and YouTube. Obviously, it looks like we're balanced down. And obviously YouTube. If you're not following me on YouTube, that's a super large problem. But specifically, I need you guys all on my IG. I'm on a mission. Sorry. IG popped up. I'm on a mission to get to 10K. And at the moment, I am 81 followers from 10K on IG, which is always funny to me considering that, there's like 42K on YouTube, but for whatever reason, I'm not pretty enough for IG. I think I'm pretty. My mama says I'm pretty, so it must be true. A little bit of a room check here. Let's see who we got in the building so far. We got Rossity, we got DJ Mikey Mike, Chico Belly in the house, Romeo, great. Who else we got here? Elder God, what is going on? Let me scroll up here. Then I said Morrissey, DJ Lopes, aka DJ Lopez, DJ Fizz, Ben Solomon, Rick Rush, and Mike. You know what is funny though? So, by the way, if you get any messages from me, they're not from me. That's just facts. The only messages I ever send are through direct message on IG or through email. If you ever get any message from me via here saying you want anything, it's a scam. That's not how it's going to work. If it does not come specifically from me, let it go. Let it go. So obviously you need to be following me. If there is if you are in the market for a full-on speaker setup, the Mackie 212s, 115s, and a Newmark Mixed Stream Pro, you could win. But you have to be eligible. And to be eligible, you have to, do the thing. You got to do the thing. The thing is important. All right. DJ Unique in the building. What's going on? So, let's see here. It's always weird to me, and we'll get to the questions. I see the questions. Timothy the Cook in the building. What is going on? It's always weird to me when I get recognized because it's a weird place. Like, I get recognized and not recognized at the same time. I get a lot of people that stare at me and think they know me or think they know me from somewhere, but they can't place it, so I get a lot of that. But it's always interesting when people are like, oh, hey, Cleveland Terry, it was 3 a.m. I'm walking down the road in Hollywood, trying to get to my car. And there's these 5 dudes. It's just like chilling at the, we always have like late night pizza shops and everything. And I'm walking by and they're like, Cleveland Terry, like, yeah. Like, oh, hey man, I follow you. Like, I always forget. It's a really hard position to be in. It's a really hard position because like when I'm not on this show, when I'm not doing reviews, posting on IG or whatever, I'm honestly just like regular dude. I open up the door, my daughter's outside, waiting to, talk some trash. Got the wife, I got the kids. I take phone calls from clients. I do events over on the weekend. So I don't make the connection that I can be a, popular person. It's very weird. It's a very weird feeling. It's very weird. I'm like that guy that like is on like your favorite TV shows, but you never know who he is. He always has a small little part in the show. But for whatever reason, you like him, but he never gets any big roles. And then finally, you spot him on the road. You're like, who's that guy? I know that guy. Did we go to school together? We must have done something together. Anyway. All right. So, questions. Let's do the questions. Miguel Allure says, update on how the Bose system is doing with you. Any updates? No, I have no updates. The Bose does exactly the way it's supposed to. It performs great. That's it. I don't have any problems. I especially don't have any problems because I understand the strengths and weaknesses of the Bose system, of any column array system, column array, line array, whatever the hell you want to call it. The facts are, not every column array should be used on your events. That's just the facts. Like I've said it and I will continue to say it. I truly believe that people should have 2 different mobile speaker systems. One for like small to medium, and then one for large. And you may not use your large one as much, but I guarantee you that small to medium one is getting used all the time. So if I'm doing an event for, 100 to 150 people inside a room that's not gigantic, I will always take my Bose system, just for the sheer convenience. And it sounds good, but there is a limit. If I got 185, 200 people, 250, I'm gonna leave the Bose at home unless the room is like super small. I have my SRX system, which I'm still working through right now because I have the SRX 800 series, the 815s or the 818s, the 815 highs, and then I have a set of a pair of 818s and a single 828. The 828 is by far the better speaker, but it is cumbersome, it is large, it is heavy, and in some places, depending on the venue, you don't have room to even put the sub down because it's the one, two piece. Or I should say two speakers in one. The 818s are good, well-rounded subs, but they don't sound like the 828. So the solution was my partner bought the 900 series, and they sound very close to the 828, but they're separate. So obviously that's the benefit. Problem is, they are ridiculously power hungry. I think it's 2400 watts in each sub. So, depending on the venues, some venues don't even have the power to support it. So or the venues are just too small for that sub. Those subs should be, 300 people subs. So it's overkill. So I am still trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my bottoms. I'm going to pass the 818s to another setup that we have in the warehouse. So I'm not really sure where I'm going. I still have to do some testing. Maybe I'll get some ugly ass but amazingly sounding bass bosses. We'll see. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, I don't know the decibel output. They get loud. I do know that they get loud, and the highs are always good, no matter where you put them. Especially for speaking things, the clarity on that microphone is unmatched with my Bose. Look, and I know there are other column arrays where the clarity is great too, but that's the first thing I noticed on the Bose is the clarity, and the fall off for the highs is almost like doesn't exist. Like that speaker can travel. Subs, on the other hand, have a little bit more. They require a little bit more nurturing, and I think this happens with every column array. I think you run into a spot where column arrays work best, especially the Bose, when they are close to a wall. Get them close to a wall, and they just seem to like come through. If they're out in the open and they have nowhere to like bounce those low frequencies, that's when you typically run into trouble. In my opinion. Okay. DJ Lab in the building. What's going on? DJ Lab says, is your audio and video off a little? I always have the issue trying to get it bang and on OBS when I do live streams. I don't think it is. I mean, you guys tell me if it's off or not. I tend to record the streams, which I'm going to do right now. I tend to record the streams, and every so often, I might run into some audio sync, and then I can just fix it in post. But in general, I don't think I'm off. Everybody's different. Pablo Miami in the building. got to run. Have a great holiday and a happy, healthy New Year. Likewise. Enjoy your day. DJ Jeet in Chicago. What is happening? Good to see you. DJ Thomas says, I love my SRX 828. They slap. Yeah, they do. It's I think it's just the problem that I'm having. Yeah. I could go in here and just change it a little bit, but it's Tuesday your sync was way off. So the sync on Tuesday, because I was on Twitch is notorious for just running into issues. Anyway, back to the 828 real quick. So what the 828's 828 since it's only one speaker, and the normal the normal 815 highs, I think are tuned. I think they're tuned literally perfect. It's the one setup, the only setup that I've ever just plugged in, set everything to unity, and turn the volume up. It's the one system that I turned it on and I'm like, this sounds amazing. I don't have to do anything to this. And I've never had to do that with any other system. When I put my 818s out there, I don't know. It just feels like I'm missing something in the center. The mids are just slightly off. Like I don't love the way they sound. But I have very high standards, and I know the crowd doesn't hear anything. They think it sounds perfect. I'm like, something's missing. I'm missing something right in the middle there. I'm not getting it. So, so that's why I'm on the fence. But the 828 is a perfect sub if it wasn't so goddamn big. That's the issue. I cannot take that sub without making sure I am in a large vehicle. Now, the convenience of the sub is once it is in the vehicle and you take it out of the vehicle, you can put it can be a dolly. You can put everything on that speaker and roll it in. That's the best part. Now, what I do have, well, okay, fine. We'll do a slight delay here. Let me just make a little advanced audio. Yeah, my offset is 350. That's normal for me. So it could be just the situation of here. I'll pump it up. I'll pump it up to 4. See if that changes anything. It could be just internet today. Sometimes it happens. What I do have, and it's funny because to blow my nose, I'm feeling it now. It's funny because I have the DRM V series Mackies that were just sent to me. I think they're outside. I think I gotta move them in the garage. I told my son to move them into the garage, and I think he put them like on the side of the yard. So somebody might be walking around with some brand new Mackie DRM subs. Maybe. I doubt it because they're big. The new way of designing speakers is to make them long but short. So they don't take up as much room in the vehicle, but they're tall, and so they take up the height. I'm not sure what's better or not. Anyway, so I haven't tried the DRMs. Somebody jokingly, as I said, hey, they sent me these DRMs. I'm gonna check them out. They're like, you're gonna be disappointed. Sometimes I wonder if people actually use the stuff before they say they're going to be disappointed, because a lot of people, it feels like, have an idea of what a product is before ever even touching it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Mackie makes shitty products. Therefore, this speaker is going to be shitty. You know, but the funny thing about Mackie is I was on a show with DJ's Guru, and I reviewed the Mackie 212s. As a matter of fact, the video's done. I just have to post it literally right after this. And everybody on the panel was like, yeah, I've used them all the way back from the original thumps. And because I reviewed them, like, they sound good. You know, I don't know what people have a problem with, but the highs sound good. I don't love the bass, but the highs actually sound good. So Um, one of the guys was like, I guess in his video, he said, I brought in the original thumbs and compared them back to back. And he's like, it's night and day difference. So Mackie may not be the best speaker out there. And I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of speakers out there, not necessarily for the price, that are better, but you're going to spend more money. So I think what you get from Mackie is just a good bang for your buck. However, I've tried every sub they have besides the DRMs, and I have never loved the subs. They don't thump for me. That's really the only issue that I have with them for me. And I never want to make it about, a generality. They don't work for me. I have a specific sound in mind when I play music. And if I don't get that sound, I'm just annoyed. And I don't get that sound from them. Other people are going to hear it and go, oh, they sound great. No, and to answer your question, Pablo, no, I have not used them indoors. I will not be using them indoors because they're completely packed away. So it wouldn't matter if they were indoors or not. Like I said, I'm never going to rock a 15. It's just not big enough for me, and that's why I have my my Bose system for that. Okay. All right. Let's go back up before we lose some people here. Okay. Romeo Great says, are you experiencing small glitches with Serato stems? I'm experiencing millisecond freeze up, still plays, but you can hesitate and freeze anytime. No, I'm not getting any glitches. Romeo, my question to you would probably be, what computer are you using? In this case, I think this is like one of the first Serato situations where computer means everything. Without a decent computer, you're going to notice more. You're going to notice glitches. Obviously there's always the potential delay. Like if you load the song up really quick and then you go to stems, you might get a small little delay, but it doesn't delay the music. It just delays when the stem kicks in, depending on your computer. Like I don't really get that, because I don't typically go straight to stems right when I load a song anyway. I usually go, a few seconds, but in general, I personally, I'm on an M1, M1 14 MacBook Pro 14, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte hard drive, and what's my video card? I got the Mid Pro, the highest one you can get without going to Max, without going to the M1 Max. I did not want the M1 Max. I don't think the M1 Max is good in the 14. I think the chassis is just slightly too small, so you're going to risk having more issues. Pablo says, I worked with the RCF Evox. Noticed that if you raise the poles, the highs will travel better. Agree on the bass. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, I will say the RCFs are very impressive speakers. Very impressive speakers. I heard them when I was in Boston. I have nothing negative to say about them. They just sounded good. No matter what you threw at it, it just sounded good. The best sounding ones, the best push through were the Mauis. But as I've said already, the Mauis are glorified, regular, standalone speakers. You can just mount your speakers because they've left the column array department. They're not. You can't check that box anymore. Those speakers are way too big to be column arrays. It's a hybrid. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Random Roger says, what does Random say? I'm new to streaming. I want to stream on multiple platforms, but on Facebook and IG, I have those muted with video only. What streaming app service do you need? Okay. I haven't had to say this in a long time, but Random Roger, thank you for your question. Thanks for hanging out today. Tough love time. Tough love time. Stay off of Facebook and stay off of IG. That's it. Don't DJ on those platforms. They're not designed for DJs. They don't want DJs on there unless you're D-nice. Stay off of there. Facebook especially will mute you immediately, and IG will kick you off. So there's no point, there's no purpose, and there's no workaround for DJing on any of the Facebook sources. Okay, so use Twitch, stream to YouTube, use Mixcloud, DJ 24/7, and TikTok, and call it a day. We've been done with IG and Facebook, but I mean, really, we're moving into 23. They don't want you on there. Just fight. And I get it. I know what the problem is, and I've said this before. I completely understand why anybody wants to DJ on Facebook and IG. Completely understand. That's where the people are. That's where your friends are. I understand. It just does not matter. In this case, if you want to DJ, just start the grassroots effort of just DJing all the time. DJing on Twitch, DJing on Mixcloud. You'll get a following. Find some people that are like you, or and start developing relationships so you can get on raids, and they can raid into you and send their people and build your community up, from the ground up. That's really all I can say about that. Okay. Okay, let's see here. I'm going all the way up to the top. Okay, cool. All right, I can travel to the bottom now. Okay, DJ Race new QSC is not the older QSC K is the super compact and twice the power. I'm buying a pair. I know those here, the QSC KS 118s are really, really good. They are loud, they are impressive, they sound good. The only issue is I'm not sure how long QSC is going to be making speakers. Word on the street is that they might be discontinuing that market. So until I can get verification that that's not happening, I won't be buying any QSCs for a minute. I just have a problem with buying any new gear, super expensive gear that a company will be out of business for, and I can't get it fixed or under warranty or anything like that. So, that's just the me thing. Diamond, I think it's Diamond White. Do some of your venues have volume warnings and bass warnings? Because one of our venues from our location told us keep your music down or get the F out of here. It's very common, especially in Southern California, where even though we have a lot of space, in California, like LA, and it's a wide area, there is for whatever reason, all the communities are really just compacted together. So people are always trying to make new venues, and a lot of times the venues are in places where there are neighborhoods close by. So you get these beautiful venues that have decibel meters and decibel readers so they can keep you at 93 decibels. Now the way sound ordinances work is supposed to be you meter the audio from a specific point outside of the room. It's not really supposed to be inside the room. This is the one thing that always drives me crazy, when people are like, let me see how loud you're going to get. And they put it up. You're like, dude, you're 10 feet from me. Back up, go outside, go to the street. And then that will tell me exactly how loud I really am, because it's the issue of the sound outside that will bring police, that will bring these things to you. So yes, here, we have a lot, which is another reason why I don't bring my JBL system everywhere because I've gone into places where I've, had to get one of the bigger vehicles and I'm traveling. I got all this equipment and I go in there and they're like, you can't turn this thing up. Like, why did I bring it? Why did I bring it? Oh yeah, because there's 225 people, but you won't let me turn it up. So I might as well have brought my Bose, so it is what it is. It's the game we play as DJs. We gotta work around the sound ordinances, and some of the things aren't the people's fault. It really isn't. Like I know people that have renovated warehouses in the middle of what they thought was nowhere. And then, they're having their parties. All of a sudden, police are showing up. They're like, what the hell? Why are you here? We're in a warehouse district. They're like, oh, you see that little area that's like 400 yards away from you? Well, that's a motorhome park, and they don't like loud noises. So they've had to change everything because of that. There's multiple venues. There's a very popular venue in Santa Monica in the middle of a business district. So there should be no problems over the weekend, except for the fact that there's one little neighborhood and there's this old guy that hates fun. So he complains and they had to change everything they did. I have a temple, Temple Emmanuel in Culver City. Actually, it's LA. The temple has been there for like 100 years. Okay? 100 years. Nothing behind them. An apartment complex gets built right behind them. They start complaining. Now the venue can't use any type of live stuff because people complain. Sucks. But that is life. That is life. Thank you, Mojax, for the no sound. I should have known that. So, thank you, Mojax. Somebody's looking out for me. I know people are going to say, well, you didn't look at the bottom. I'm not at the bottom. I'm looking at questions. So, back to what I was saying. That one had a question about, he's calling me now, but I'm on now. I think he knows now. That one asks, in regards to royalties for playing artist music, I've read you have to pay, I guess, certain companies to play music at venues or events. What's the proper steps to that? Making sure I'm covered. So, what I just said, it was very eloquent, by the way, very eloquent, but it is what it is. The bottom line here is this: if you are playing at any venue that is basically, licensed for musical playback, commercially playable music, events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate, whatever. If you are hired to be a DJ there, and you go in that room and they tell you, hey, please provide me your music license so I know you can play here, walk away. Because every venue is required to have one. They're supposed to. Now, I'm only speaking in the United States, so there might be a situation where, in certain countries, maybe it is one of those things. I know that, like, I think in like Germany, you can buy your license and they're cheap. I think it's like $100 a year or something like that, something ridiculous. So I know it's a little different, but in the United States, venues are supposed to have them. So sorry. Timothy Cook says, what do you think of the altos? I have not used them at all. Darshan Naidu says hi from South Africa. Any views on the Mixon 8 Pro? The simple answer is no. I was supposed to have one months ago, but manufacturing, all the things pushed me back. The same thing happened with me with Raid. Their pre-production models, they only had a certain amount, and they had to all go to Mojax, all of them. Mojax has like 6 of them, and he reviews one every day, just differently, just to get a different perspective. That's how focused Mojax is. It's really about knowing every angle. So I didn't get one, but fortunately I was able to go to Rhode Island and check it out. So as soon as I get one, I can tell you what I feel about it. Who knows? From my first dabble at it at NAMM, it seems like a very good board. I mean, it's very reminiscent of an SX, an SX2 or 3, but that doesn't make it a bad board. SXs are good. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, what's your opinion of Rockville audio? Okay, so I'm just going to tell you right now, just in general, I haven't reviewed every speaker, or every light. I have seen the Rockville audio uplights because the lighting vendor that I worked with 2 weeks ago had them. They seem fine. Lighting is a thing that sorry. Lighting is a thing that I feel is really easy to have, with parity. I think everybody's buying from the same places. So lighting is lighting, and no matter what you get, if you get it from a Chinese manufacturer, if you get it from anybody, American DJ or Chauvet, they're all going to give you what you need. So I don't have a problem with any type of lighting. It used to be a thing, especially with a lot of our vendors, our party planners and stuff, where they were all like name brand whores. So basically, if you didn't come in with like Chauvet, or something above that, they would say, "Oh, we don't want your lights. Your lights are garbage." Now, everywhere I look, everybody's using, knockoffs. People don't even buy regular moving heads anymore. They're all knockoffs now, So, everybody's making good things. Speakers, on the other hand, I will not say are the same and are created equal. So I don't know what they sound like, but I know I've listened to a lot of speakers, and some are really good and some are really, really bad. I'm not talking specifically about Rockville, just in general. Okay. DJ Mikey Mike says, how are you liking stems in Serato? I love stems in Serato. The one thing I'm going to say about stems has nothing to do with stems, but has everything to do with the way people are using it. Because I've said this before, stems is going to make a lot of questionably bad DJs good. And what I mean by that is a lot of the issues where you get word on word transitions and, you know, questionable tones and sounds. Well, you can just get rid of those now. You can just mute them out if you don't like them. So a lot of DJs are going to have a lot easier recovery having this the way it is. I love stems. I think stems are great. I love stems in Serato. I love stems in everything except for Recordbox. Recordbox still needs stems. Get on that, Recordbox. Get on that. Anyway, I think stems is great. Stems are amazing. DJ Reese, why drop 4K on high spec computer just to get stems? Serato needs to fix this for low end computers. No, they don't. You know, there is a situation, DJ Reese, and I'm not talking to you specifically. And I know we talked about this yesterday on Tweak Music Tips with Mojax, because you know, virtual DJs Stems 2.0 requires a jet engine to operate effectively. And it's alienating a lot of people, you know, so you can pre-process. Stems, on the other hand, with Serato, are definitely more efficient. They have a happy medium between sounding really good and being as efficient on your computer as possible. So I do think that if Serato could have done it any better and dropped it any lower without sacrificing sound quality, they would have. I think this is just the level we're at. Now, stems, for some people, it's going to be a life changer, game changer. But for other people, you've gone this far without stems, and it's not going to change the world if you don't use stems. You know, there are tons of ways to get your acapellas and to get your instrumentals the old-fashioned way. You know, there's ways to process them using, you know, any of the programs out there that will extract audio for you. So you don't have to use stems. But I'm going to say that this is the only thing I'll say about low power computers versus high end computers. If we ever expect any of these companies to really push the envelope, it's going to require better computers. It's going to require faster processors, better graphics cards. And if we always aim for the lowest common denominator, if we always do that, it's going to be really tough to grow. Like really, really tough to grow. So I'm completely fine with the fact that they've done this. I think it's necessary. And you know, I think even the most affordable, like you can get $1,000 or $1,200 M1 MacBook Air and be just fine. You know, it's not, you don't have to spend $4,000. You just have to buy some new stuff, some newer technology, and then you'll be fine.
This is a journey into sound. This is a journey. This is a journey into sound. Sound.
Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's all right. Timothy Cook says Jazzy can rock Facebook with no problems too. When you become Jazzy Jeff, you do whatever the hell you want. Whatever the hell you want. Okay. All right. I know I'm gonna jump ahead here to, I'm sure the no sounds. Let's see here. Come back. Random Roger says, and by the way, thank you for the super chat. I know how it is with Facebook and IG. That's why I want to send videos only, no sound to those. Oh, I see. That's an OBS thing that's going to require a little more thing. It's definitely doable. You can definitely send out an audio feed with no sound. I got to look into it. And I guarantee you there's probably already 40 videos on it. So, you can probably Google it and find it out too. Okay. Metro says, this past weekend I was trying to use the Rev 7. I connected my laptop, but it didn't connect to Serato. I'm using Catalina. I'm wondering if I did something wrong. I mean, I don't know. Have you checked on it after the fact? I haven't really seen issues. The only time I've seen issues with people in Rev 7s is if they don't have the drivers. You're on Catalina. I think Catalina's fine. I'd have to go back and look. I'm not really sure. But I do know there is a minimum Serato point, which is really it. So I don't know. If you're having problems, look at the minimum spec requirements and see if you're running into that. Okay. All right, there we go. Now I can jump off the no sound. Silent only chat when you hear. All right, here we go. All right, I'm getting through. Does he see the comments? Okay. I get focused on everybody. And here's the problem. Anytime anybody has questions, I answer the question, but then, some of the times I can't go to the bottom. If I go to the bottom, I'm going to miss out on the questions that were before. So sorry guys, it happens. All right. Samuel says, I don't like lugging my setup to people's houses, apartments, backyards, but I get invited to every twerk off parent having birthday parties, I think, behaving badly. I want a small, tiny controller that I can run off my phone. Well, I mean, that's any controller that can run DJ, but I'm a big fan of the Hercules controller. Do I have it in here? It's in my room. Hercules controllers are super small. They have nice little breakouts. If you want something a little better, obviously you'll have to step up to one of the Recordbox ones. For instance, this guy right here, the Flex 4, which I'm still haven't reviewed yet. But the Flex 4, this is a very, very good controller. Made very well, sturdy, feels like quality, even though it's all plastic. But if you want to step up, you can spend the money, because I don't know, because when you say small and tiny, are we saying small, tiny, meaning not very expensive? Or are we saying small, tiny, meaning I just need something that's going to be able to, I can walk around with? Because for that, if you're doing those things, pick yourself up a Denon Prime Go and call it a day. And you can put all that twerk-only music on an SD card and be good with it. Okay. Tim Cook says that'll cover bands get away with playing your real band's music. Exactly. Okay. DJ ML says, have you been using the X5 U3 recently? Have they been reliable? You guys ask questions sometimes that I feel that's sometimes you don't. If you guys were following me on IG, if you guys really watch all my videos, you'll know. Even if you watch my shorts, or watch this show, I use my X5 U3s religiously. Religiously, I use them every single event. For whatever reason, they always come into play, and they always come in handy every time. You don't have to buy the X5, but they are on sale right now. So I would definitely, if you're looking at buying them, they're on sale for $159, I think, right now for a single pair. So if you were looking into it, now is the time to buy. But I have run into so many situations where I'm like, oh my God, thank God that I had, those wireless things, because I got a cocktail speaker in another room. Cool. XLR, wireless, send it out there. I can DJ from inside the main room. Oh, hey, there's a giant video wall up here, and we need you to be on one side, and we need you to send all put your other speakers on the other side. Okay. Well, you guys didn't tell me that it was going to be this. I don't have enough cords. Hey, let me pop in this XLR, this wireless XLR. Problem solved. Hey, you know what? My wireless microphone just died. It's okay. Let me grab my Shure SM58 wired, and let me plug this thing into the bottom, and now I have a microphone. It is a godsend. Hey, I'm doing the wedding ceremony, and they got me off to the side. I can run my Mackie thump Goes on battery powered and run those XLRs, and I don't have anything to worry about. It just makes life easier. There's a couple of things that really make life easier. One of them is that. Another one is wireless DMX. I have the Chevy wireless D5s, the XLR DMX, and I'm pissed off at myself that I waited as long as I did to actually buy them. Because now I use them on every one of my moving heads. My thing was like, God, I'm so sick of having to run cords down. I already have my Chevy Freedom Bar hexes that are underneath my scrims. So those were already wireless. It was just my moving heads. And so I was like, okay. So my solution was, I have this slight cough. So my solution was, well, I'll just put my Freedom Bars in the truss, and then run an XLR from the output of the Freedom Bar up to the output of the up to the input of the moving heads. Problem solved. And for the most part, problem is solved, except for the fact that, sometimes cables get stupid and they don't talk correctly, and there's problems. The wireless DMX is always the right pins. Always. And that's just one less thing. Now, of course, there's more things that I need to charge. I'm literally about to build a charging station in my office, just for all the crap I have. But because of the fact I charge my D5s before an event. However, like my Chevy 350s, yes, I'm still using 350s, by the way. I have found no need to upgrade my movers to anything bigger than that. My partner upgraded to the ADJs, which they're good, they're huge, but they're ridiculously bright. Like, I would say they're almost too bright. If I got to rock a dimmer every time, they're too bright. But they do the job. My 350s have always been great. Always. So I have an output. I have an actual, like, regular power outlet on the box. So I can run my D5s into it, and there's a little USB C plug, and I can plug that power in and then just plug it into USB-C. So even if they're dead, they'll still run. It's the world we live in. I'm about working smarter, not harder. Okay, let's see here. Mark, the military DJ, asks, why is that Denon Engine DJ audio MP3 have to be formatted in X Factor only compared to Serato that can have any formatted music? Okay, there's a lot of words in here, and a lot of these words don't make any sense together. I'm going to assume that we're saying, why are, I guess, Engine OS's MP3 or their file requirements so stringent? You know, like maybe you can only play MP3s and maybe you can only play MP4. I mean, I don't even think you can play MP4s. You can play MP3s. I think it's just the nature of the OS, and as it matures, I think it'll start to pull in other sources. I'd have to check though. I don't remember. I thought it could play like MP3. I thought it could play FLAC. It can definitely play AAC. So I'm not really sure. Ruben, by the way, Ruben is a member, so Ruben always gets priority over any of you lowly people that don't do memberships. But if you do find this channel, you know, worthwhile and you feel like you're getting actual information out of it, I would say, you know, let's keep the lights on in this place. Become a member. Support however you can. Memberships are like $4 or $5 a month. You know, I mean, it's the same thing as like if you were on Twitch, you know, becoming a member. But it comes directly to me. Obviously, there's a little bit of a breakout, but you know, just supports the channel. Plus, it gives you access to the emoticons, changes your color, makes you look all prestigious, and at a certain point in time, you know, once we get up to a specific level, there will be member only content that I will be putting out, or more specifically, there will be member only like early release content, and there will be more behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, become a member. Support your guy. All right. Ruben says, what's the craziest thing you've used a piece of gear for that it wasn't intended for? That is a very good question. Craziest thing. You know, honestly, I don't really do a lot of crazy. The craziest thing is probably having to use my headphones as my microphone because I forgot everything. I've DJ'd using just my computer. I've DJ'd using I've DJ'd using like literally 2 iPods. Like I've done it all, but in general, I don't really do a lot of crazy stuff. You know, I think the issue is that a lot of people, as mobile DJs, have to learn to be very resourceful anyway. So I think we are always constantly trying to like fix problems on every event. So so we might think it's normal, but some other people might think it's weird. Okay. Syndicate says, used Carafun on your recommendation yesterday for a kids holiday event. Worked out great. So here's the thing. I think Apple is about to destroy the karaoke industry. I honestly do. They just made it really easy to do karaoke. Carafun, obviously, you know, is great because it has all that music and it's all cloud-based and you can stream it. But now, your iPad or your iPhone can do karaoke with the latest update. So I have this weird feeling that a lot of people that maybe wanted a karaoke something are going to go, you know what, we can just do this on our phones. Do this on our phones, grab a microphone, plug it in. We'll be good. We don't even need a microphone. Let's just all sing really, really loud. I think that's where we're headed. Again, technology is going to really screw a lot of businesses out there. I mean, think about this for a minute. If you were able to walk into a karaoke bar and they had a karaoke station, they didn't even have a person, just a karaoke station. And that karaoke station was, you know, a Mac Mini, iPad, whatever, sitting in there. You select your song, you turn down the vocals, and it pops up on the screen. You sing, no issues. You don't need anybody. And now there's never a song that the karaoke DJ doesn't have. All the words are always there. I think karaoke people are gonna have some trouble in the next couple of years, because it's just a start. It's just a start with Apple. Apple does it first, which is Apple always does software typically first. They don't. No, they don't. Anyway, usually once Apple does something, it starts to trickle down to all the other companies, and then once it becomes ubiquitous with like your phones, I think a lot of companies are gonna struggle. A lot of companies. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Mixing out of key drives me crazy, says Ben Solomon. I get it. There's a place for mixing key. I truly don't believe that every song needs to be in key when you're mixing it. There are many different ways of transitioning through a song without having any key issues. Many different ways. But and Mojack said this yesterday, so I'm just quoting him. If you are trying to do mashups and you're really trying to do real stem work, then absolutely mixed in key is very, very important. Absolutely. Now, the way I use my stems, for any time you run into a situation where you're mixing two songs together, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because we've always done this. At least I have. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. We've always done this. So, for instance, let's say you're bringing into, groovy house, heavy bass line driven tracks. And you're bringing in this next song and you have one heavy bass line with another heavy bass line. What do you do? What do you do? You remove the baseline frequencies of one of the tracks or both of the tracks. And as you're transitioning, you are adding in new frequencies and removing old frequencies. That's it. So with stems, you just hit the bass button and the bass line goes away. And now you have a completely open area to mixing your new track. Key doesn't matter at that point, So there are ways to get around that. Okay. DJ Keith just says, I think stems won't hit Recordbox until they can make the flagships work without a computer. I don't agree with that. I think that if stems comes to Recordbox, it's gonna come. I for the most part, I think a lot of the stem stuff is mostly controller based. So I don't think they really have to worry about it as much. Because I think if they do come out with something, it's going to be controller focused versus let's get it on the CDJs, which is a whole different animal altogether. However, it'd be a really cool animal if they could build stems. If they can build stems into the CDJs without having to update the 3000s, like, oh, the new CDJ 4000s have stems in them. I think people would buy it regardless, but I think, oh man, that would be great. Because that's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue with all the standalone software out there. And why is that an issue? It's very simple. None of these companies are building in, high quality, high powered processors for their controllers, for their CDJs. The CDJs are faster, but they're still they can't hold a candle to a computer. They do, one thing and they do it very well. So it's not, you can't just add in something like real-time stems and expect it to work properly. I don't even think, I think like even with something like an Engine OS, or even Recordbox, if they were to put stems in their Engine OS, I think they would all be pre-processed for the longest time. I think And I don't think you'd be able to use them on like any streaming service. If they could pre-process them using the Engine OS transfer, so then you have that version that's just kind of hiding in the background. You'll need a bigger USB or bigger SD card. But I think that's the way they're going to get around it in the beginning, is put it in the pre-processing. Okay. All right, just got a Rev 1, need something small away from the S1 tables. I may get the Rev 7. If you're a turntable guy, the Rev 7 is an excellent controller. Excellent. Okay. When it's time to get my full setup, says Travis Davis, would 2 reloops 7000s in phase be better than going with 2 Rain 12s for my first setup? This is a very common question, and it's not really a question that I can say one or the other is better, because they both serve a purpose. I know you're saying for your full setup. I mean, first off, I'm not a big fan of taking any turntables out on any mobile events, but that's just me. Here's the thing. If you never plan to use vinyl, then it's probably a better thing just to grab the Rain 12s. If you never plan to use real vinyl, because it doesn't serve a purpose for you. You know, you're adding in all of these issues with something you're never going to use. You know, if you are going to use vinyl, then yes, phase is definitely the go-to for anything. It just depends. You have to ask yourself, what you're going to do, because they both will do a good job. DJ Loeb says, what with your Soundswitch Control 1, do you use a wireless DMX? Yes, I do. I was just saying that's for my the DeFi's. Okay. Keith just says, what did you ask your wife for Christmas? Nothing, because I'm Jewish. But if I were to ask, we don't really do gifts for one another. It's all for the kids. Really, like, we haven't purchased a gift for one another in years. And for also, there's really nothing that I need that I probably already don't have, or would be too expensive to buy. Like, for instance, I would love a 16-35 f4 Sony lens. That's the lens I want. It's $1,100. This one's still bomb too. This is the 21.8. Love this lens, but I'd love to be able to have a little more range when I'm out and about, and it's super light. So yeah, those are the types of things that I want. It's not coming from her, and it's not coming from her anyway. It's coming from me. I'm not discounting what my wife does, but she's a stay-at-home mom. She's a full-time mom. So all the money is coming from me. And if somebody's going to spend on me, I'd rather it be me, because I know that dollar is going to go towards something that I actually wanted. Okay. I need another controller just for portability. Can't keep bringing this Rain 1 everywhere, says Ray Sean. I mean, that's about as portable as I'll go, is a Rain 1. An occasional 1002, but like in general, I won't go any lower than that. Okay. All right, I have a couple of have I upgraded to Ventura yet? I've heard Serato Sims run smooth on there. So, I mean, yeah, it's qualified for Ventura. I have not upgraded to Ventura because I haven't really had a need. haven't had a need. I'll upgrade at some point. Just, not now. Not now. I mean, I guess I could do it over the holiday, but why? My computer's running fine, and I keep moving away from things that like are designed for, the MacBook or designed for Mac. For instance, I have now moved over. Don't know if I'm going to stay. I've moved over to DaVinci Resolve. I did my first real video yesterday, on the X5 U4 in-ear monitors. And I'm just going to bite the bullet and get through the learning curve. That's why I kept going. There were two reasons why I never moved over. One, I couldn't find it seemed like the audio sync for multiple video feeds, because I have this camera, I have this overhead camera, I have my dedicated microphone recording. So in general, multicam sync has always been questionable for me in DaVinci Resolve. Like, I can send any source file to Final Cut, select all of them, hit sync, and everything works perfectly. I didn't have that option. So now I've been reading, and I'm a YouTube guy, so I check out the YouTube guys, and I think I'm going to like it. Just the fact that it has a dedicated audio panel is like so much to me. It's the one thing in Final Cut I can't stand, is there's no dedicated audio panel. Anyway, it's getting better. Okay. Okay. Hard drive format. Talking about hard drive format. Does it matter though, Mark? That it's exFAT? I mean, exFAT works on Mac and PC. So why does it matter? I mean, I guess, is it affecting the way you DJ or anything? Because there's nothing wrong with exFAT. Okay, I have a 2014 MacBook Pro. Says Metro. I wanted to know, have you heard of issues with Big Sur compared to Catalina as far as stability? No, Big Sur is fine. No problems with Big Sur. All right. Okay, robot. Power Friend says it's gonna make our karaoke shows better. Okay, they're gonna be able to perform at home. All right, we can go with that. That's a possibility. Let's keep up hopes. I mean, look, everybody's been saying that the DJ would have been out of business years ago, with the advent of streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music. And why do they need you? There's all these playlists. They can just hit the playlist, because playlists don't play like DJs. That's why. When they can make an AI, an algorithm that can play like a DJ, then we'll talk. And the funny thing is, there's no reason why that couldn't happen right now. There's absolutely no reason. The technology is all there already. Think about it. These companies know which songs you choose, which songs you choose the most of, which songs you play, how long you play them for, how long until you skip to the next track, how long until you maybe jump ahead to a specific verse. What do you play during the day? What do you play during the night? All of these things are trackable. All of these things are trackable. If they build in an AI that says, okay, let's take all of these elements, and now the AI starts jumping ahead to, different parts of songs, the Biggie part or whatever, they're cutting out after the first verse or the second verse. If they start doing that, and actually, the transitioning stuff's already there, because, Serato had their one app that came and went. So it's already there. It just takes a smart mind to put a priority on it. And maybe it's not a priority. Obviously, it's not a priority. Okay. Timothy says, won't stems really destroy the karaoke market? I don't think so, because, you're still going to struggle with the words. You need the words. the words are very, very important. Now, what stems will do is when somebody says, "Hey, my wife or my cousin has to sing a song for me. Here's the song. Can you just pull out the vocals?" You're like, in what world can you just randomly pull out vocals? So you have to change the high frequency and the mid frequency so it all sounds like a big ass bass thing, but they can be heard. Now, yeah, you just hit the button. I use the stems button for my MCs. When they get on the microphone and start talking or have an announcement to make, I use the frequency down with the high pass, down to basically nothing so they could talk. Technically low pass. However, now I don't even have to turn the music down. I just mute the vocals and then they can talk. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Bam. Out of it. Love it. Now, what I will say is this about stems. I don't love, I've said this, I might be the only one because there are tons of people that use virtual DJ. And so I know there's a lot of people that don't agree with me. But here's the thing. I probably won't ever really use stems on a controller that doesn't have dedicated buttons. I prefer being able to see what I'm doing with my stems. And if I have to pad over, meanwhile I'm trying to do hot cues and stems, I want to be able to see and have access to both of them. So hardware like the Rev 7, to me, hardware like the even the Rain 4, it's fantastic. I use stems much more this way. But if I have to go to a second pad, like, they say, it needs to go on the sampler or the loop roll, like a lot of these things, or I think it can use scratch bank too. But, a lot of these require multiple taps to get to. And if I have to do that, I'm not using it. So I love having the buttons exterior wise where I could see them. I don't want to MIDI map things that I use all the time. Can't stand that. I love the loop roll. I hate the fact that that's a MIDI mappable. I don't, there are tons of things on there that I can get rid of. Loop roll isn't one of them. I use my sampler. I use scratch bank. Although I haven't really been using scratch bank for a while now, but there's scratch bank too. So a lot of options. All right. Ben Solomon asks, how do you use Mackie Thump Go Bluetooth with DJ output? You don't. Connecting cable to one Bluetooth pair to another. Wait a minute. Connecting cable to one Bluetooth pair to another doesn't seem to work. How do you use? Okay, so with the Bluetooth on the Mackie Thump Go, you have to obviously pair one of them to your phone, to your MacBook or whatever, and then there is another button on the other side that you hold the button down, do it closer when the speaker's close to the other one, and then pair those together. It's called link. Hold the link button down so it links up. That's it. That's it. Now, it does not work with XLR. I'm just throwing that out there. You might already know, but it doesn't work with XLR. So if you're running an XLR to 1, it's not going to wirelessly send the signal over. But for Bluetooth, I haven't had any problems linking them up properly. Recess, have you used Tribe XR Virtual? No, I don't have an Oculus VR headset. To each their own. I have not used it though, but it looks cool, I guess. I mean, look, the problem with it is I have lots and lots of gear, so I don't really need to go into virtual, reality to find what I want to use. I just open up a box and there's a controller in there or whatever. I mean, even right now, my turntable's under here. I got my Rev 7 in a bag. There's a Rain. Where's my Rain 1? My Rain 1's at the studio. There's a RX3 chilling right over there. I don't have CDJ 3000s, but however, I've used them, obviously. So yeah, I don't know, man. To each their own. To each their own. Okay. What's your favorite old school mixer? I learned, well, the first one that I learned on was like on a Radio Shack mixer, but the first mixer I ever bought was which one? Which one was it? The PMC 05. That was the first mixer that I ever bought on my own. Besides, like, DJ in a box, where it's like, one crappy mixer and two crappy belt-driven turntables. Okay. Nick Spinelli is recommending that we update to Ventura. He said he did it and it fixed all his 3.0 issues. Well, if Nick said it, it must be right. Here's the thing. There's more than one MacBook. There's more than one configuration. So I would not make a statement like everybody should update to Ventura. I would never make that statement. Me personally. But maybe it's because, I don't know, I'm different. But it may fix it. It may not. I mean, it's weird, but I almost believe like, I don't know. Everybody's different. I know he's operating on an M1. So, anyway, my 2015 MacBook Pro won't do any further updates with OS upgrades. I'm reverting back to the last Serato version. I get it. Some people aren't ready to update. I understand. If there's nothing wrong with your system, there's no need to do anything to it. If it ain't broke. Okay. Okay. You're not wrong, DJ Lab. I almost made a video on it once, and then I literally thought to myself, how you watch Star Trek, you watch any of the things, Star Trek, Back to the Future, Star Wars, and you see all this technology, 2001: A Space Odyssey, you see all the technology, and then that technology is now here. And you say to yourself, who created what? You know what I mean? Because people are always like, oh, they saw into the future. They were visionaries. It's like, were they visionaries or were they just making some stuff up? And people were like, that's the future. So that's where we're aiming. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. So I didn't make the video because I thought all it takes is for one person to like it pop into their head. And they're like, you know what? He's on to something. So I didn't make that video. Yeah. And I know about virtual DJs karaoke. I know. I was mainly talking about. So virtual DJ is an anomaly. Okay. And it really is a love it or hate it kind of program, but virtual DJ is very good and it does a whole bunch of stuff. more stuff than most people even know about, but it requires a little more, user massaging. So I was only referring to Serato. I know even Recordbox has a version of something similar to that, but it never worked for me correctly. So it is what it is. Okay. Gotcha, Mark. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. My guess is it needs to be exFAT because you have Macs and PCs. That's my guess. Okay. Do I have any knowledge on the Bose F1 speakers? I do not. Haven't used them. Don't know. Haven't used them. It's Bose, so I'm sure they're fine. I don't know if they're fine for DJing. Maybe I'll take a look real quick. Bose. Portable loudspeaker PA system. Oh, okay. Yeah, so interestingly enough, I did see these. So at Harvest of Sound, the Bose team, which is why I'm not really sure which one was on. But they did have the F1s and they had the L1 Pros. I think they were using the L1 Pros and not the F1, and maybe it was more for like, hey, look at me, we do all this other stuff. But so I don't have an opinion on it because I have not used it. So sorry. Use a Prime 4 in Virtual DJ. Not sure why you push Serato so much. Thought you said VDGems 2.0 was better. It's simple. I don't like Virtual DJ like I like Serato. Everybody has their own kind of vibe to what works to them visually, mechanically, everything. And for me specifically, it's not as easy as just saying, well, just go use Virtual DJ. I've used Virtual DJ. It's good. It's just not for me. You know what I mean? So it's weird, but it's like somebody saying, hey, you can have a Ferrari, and here's your Ferrari, and you use your Ferrari for all the stuff, and it does everything you need, and it's got a cup holder, and it moves real fast, and it's really, fuel efficient, and it's battery power, blah, 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 right? And then you get into it, and the seats feel weird. You don't like the way the dash comes up the way it is. Maybe that center column is kind of awkward, and you can't put your arms anywhere, and there's no place to put your bag, and, all of these little things. That's what it's like for me in DJ software. Certain software just appeals to people differently. And usually speaking, the software that you started with is the one you stick with, And as far as DJ, when I got out of vinyl and I moved to DVS, Serato was the program that I learned on. So I know Serato. I know the way it looks. I know the way it feels. It is just what it is. Nothing wrong with Virtual DJ at all. But I'll give you an example. Virtual DJ's been out. I opened up Algorithm DJ, and everything about it, layout-wise, made me feel good. If that makes any sense. Made me feel good. So, everybody's going to look at things differently. And because of the fact that I am also a turntable DJ, I have never, ever liked the way that Virtual DJ operates on DVS. Something about it does not flow for me. I just don't like it. So, I'm not going to use one thing for controllers unless I'm in a pinch and like, oh, I need to use my my Prime Go. So that's it. And for the record, everybody, you guys know this. I will never use the Prime 4 in a mobile environment. Why? Simple. It's too big. It's too big for what I do. So that's why I don't prime for it. My Prime Go is great. The virtual DJ on the Prime Go, amazing. But in general, the Prime 4 is it's too cumbersome for me. Does it do a lot of great things? Yes. Is it an amazing piece of tech? Yes. It's too big. And I would say that to anything. The RX3 that I have right here, it's a smaller, more compact. It's like the Prime 2. Even it feels strangely big to me. So I have a definitely a size that I won't go over. And, there's certain models that are like that. And that's one of them. Okay. Sel Yang in the building. Are you a fan of mechanical or touch sensitive jog wheels? The answer is yes to both. I love mechanicals. But there's some really good touch sensitive jogs too. Like I said, the Rain 4 has really good jogs. Really good jogs. Okay. Yeah, they should have come out with an 800 SRT a long time ago. Long time ago. I thought that was the perfect controller was the DDJ 800. And for whatever reason, Recordbox only. Okay. Phil Mobile says I am using. Can I go down without it doing it? No. I am using an Akai AFX for stems, MIDI map for stems, but not sure what other functions we can get MIDI map beyond the 8 pads. Instrumental button and vocal buttons. Yeah. And so right now, there's only a specific thing that can be MIDI mapped, although. So I'm not really sure though. I do know it is limited. It is limited. Okay. Cine Dikit was very close to switching from DJ Pro to Serato over the weekend, but had a couple of gigs scheduled. Didn't want to take a chance. Almost came over to the dark side. Serato ain't for everybody either. And trust me when I tell you, Serato has its flaws. Serato is not perfect, but they're my flaws. And I know what they are. And I have faith that in 2023, we will see an updated Serato. We will see better library management in Serato. This is me. Everybody knows it's on the horizon. But we need that. We need that so much. Because anyway, we won't talk about that anymore. Okay. DJ greatness. I just sit here and suck up the knowledge ain't trying to get snapped on. Do people get snapped on? Just because I disagree doesn't mean I'm snapping on you. I'm just saying. Pablo says it's too big. It is. My first DJ software was PC DJ. That was forever ago. Then eventually I went to virtual DJ and bought myself a lifetime license. Then I got Serato and still now on Serato. Yeah. Everybody's different. I even say that Recordbox doesn't get the credit it deserves. Recordbox is a very, very good program. Honestly, it's a very good program and does some really cool stuff. But they don't get the credit they deserve, especially now without stems. So it's almost obsolete until they can get the stems in there. Kid Cupid, can someone make Recordbox make a Rev 7 version? Is it true Recordbox is upcoming going to be more used than Serato? Love the feature of Recordbox like auto loop. I don't know if that's true about Recordbox is going to be used more than Serato. I don't see how that's possible. But to each their own. The question is, will there be a Recordbox Rev 7? Okay, so this is what I know. Contractually, after a specific time, there's no reason that they couldn't do a Rev 7 for Recordbox. And hardware-wise, there's no reason that Recordbox wouldn't work on the Rev 7. The question is, what's their contract with Serato? That's it. And that I don't know. Okay. Rev 7 too much for mobile? No. No. No, no, no. Alyssa says literally everything is easier on it than on the Prime 2. I upgraded from the Prime 2 to the Prime 4 and I love it. Again, I'm not saying that you're wrong. You're absolutely right. The Prime 2 was a horrible, horrible marketing manufacturing decision. It didn't make sense. They come out with the Prime 2, then they say, oh, even though the Prime 4 can do Serato, Prime 2 can't. And for the longest time, it couldn't do anything until Virtual DJ. The Prime 2 has no zones. It's just missing a lot. It's an unnecessary controller. It really is. Now, had that Prime 2 been able to do Serato, had it been just a smaller version of the Prime 4, it would have sold like hotcakes. Sold like hotcakes. Okay. Northwest, I didn't. I have a fireplace. No, repeat the question. Any new methods or music library organization? No, I'm still trying to different ways. Come on. I'm still trying different ways, internal and external. I still get missing files in Serato. I only do internal. Sometimes I've found that Serato, the fine loss files in Serato DJ Pro is not as good as in Scratch Live. I've installed Scratch Live just to run relocate loss files. That's how good Scratch Live's relocate was. So it just depends. Okay. I hope that at some point Serato will fix the moving, disappearing crates. I'm not experiencing that. As strange as that sounds. It's weird how some people get that problem and others don't. I don't get disappearing crates. I mean, there was one crate, but I'm pretty sure it was user error. I'm pretty sure it was me. And I threw it in another crate. The most important thing, which is what I love about like Recordbox and Virtual DJ, is you can right click on a file and it'll tell you what playlist every one of those that song is in. That alone makes life so much easier. And I can't wait till Serato brings that in. I think Tractor is about the only DJ software I haven't used. It's okay. You're good. So the Rev 7 is different entity than Serato. Man, sorry if I sound stupid. My head's spinning. I thought Pioneer owns the Rev 7 they made. It no, it's okay. So just these are basics. Nothing they don't all apply this way, okay? But typically speaking, when a piece of hardware comes out and they work with the software companies, they work with Serato, they work with Recordbox, they talk about, what products we have coming out and, which ones we're going to get, which ones you're going to get. And anytime something that they feel is going to be like a year defining controller or turntable or hardware, whatever, they will try to get exclusive rights for a certain amount of time. What was the Scratch Bank? Scratch Bank was a program that came out, and I can't remember the first controller to have it. I can't remember. But either way, neither here nor there. The exclusive for Scratch Bank was for a certain amount of time. And that's why they wouldn't put Scratch Bank on like the Rain 72. I think Scratch Bank was on the S11. Could have been on the S11. Yeah, maybe it was the S11 that was the first one with Scratch Bank. So people wanted it on the 72, and it wasn't on there. It took like 3 or 4 months, and even then, I think they might have done it earlier than they were supposed to. The same thing applies to the Rev 7. You know, they have exclusive rights for a certain amount of time. I don't even believe that Algorithm DJ was supposed to have a working version on the Rev 7. But you know, the third party companies, they can sometimes operate outside of the issue. Ruben, large controller or all-in-one is just a preference. My XZ is big, but I'm also 6'4" and have really wide shoulders and don't like everything too close. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You know, we're all, everybody has some things that work for them. And, which is why I never think that one size fits all. And there are the dumbest reasons why people like what they like. The dumbest reasons. But it's their dumb reason. It's like guilty pleasure movies. There's movies that are just bad, but for whatever reason, you love that movie. Guilty pleasure. And that is okay. You know, I'm not going to question somebody that loves, you know, like what's a guilty pleasure movie for me? I know Armageddon, word for word, every part. And anytime Armageddon's on, I watch Armageddon. Guilty pleasure. Jeez, I watched Howard the Duck, for God's sakes. Okay. Prime 2 was a good upgrade from what I was using before, but I loved every minute that I used it. Now that I'm on to something much better, I realize. Yeah, agreed. When they sent me the Prime 2 for review, I honestly was like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's nowhere near as good as the Prime 4. I'm just going to tell people to buy the Prime 4. So, needless to say, I didn't do the review for the Prime 2. Think about that for a minute. Because I knew for a fact that all I would do is butcher it. I knew that. So I didn't do it. Northwest Audio. Do you do any production work in Serato Studio? Yes, I do. Northwest. I have videos on it. There's a whole, I think that's a production playlist. But yes, I work in both Serato Studio and in Ableton. I did 3 or 4 videos using Serato Studio. I have an Ableton Push 2, and I'm actually getting back into production because that's my greatest love besides DJing. And I told people this before, but I had a whole music group. We were signed to a label, you know, everything. And then, you know, the label fell apart. So music is a part of my life and I will continue to do it. So bringing out the Push 2. Name in the chat something that you bought that was expensive and you never used it. Put it in the chat. Because for me, it was Ableton Push 2. I had a Push 1 and I kind of used it. Didn't love it as much. Didn't love the monochrome colors and all that stuff. And then what happened? Push 2 came out. Everything was in color. Everything was great and loved it. Loved it. Barely used it. It sits in a case. It's practically brand new. So I'm making it a point in 2023 to actually go back to making music, making remixes, making edits because I need that part of my life. Okay. Why does Serato detect wrong BPMs? Virtual DJ is good at detecting BPMs, but bad at key detection. I don't know. Every so often it just glitches out, where I have a song that's I know is 128 or 130 beats per minute. And Serato's like, no, we think it's 98. So You just work around it. I mean, at least you can change the BPM, you know, if it is incorrect. I've only had like 5 or 6 songs that have ever come back just grossly wrong. But everybody's different. Okay. Let's see here. DJ Greatness. The first Spawn movie, yeah, I can see that. All right. Something that I bought that I barely use. 6 Evox J8s and only use 2. Yeah, I get that. I mean, like I said, I don't use my A28 all that much because it's just too big for most rooms. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. Let's see here. I have a Roland JDX XI collecting dust in my garage right now. Barely use Roland S8 drum machine. We always buy drum machines, don't we? Well, all the DJs are like, you know what? This is the year. I'm going to DJ. I'm going to play the drums with the DJing. And oh man, I'm going to take my show to the next level. We don't do it. We don't do it. We don't do it at all. USA made Fender Strat, loved it and used it for 2 gigs, went back to my old guitar, it's in the closet. So, oh God, like musical instruments. Thank God I have a son that likes to use my stuff, even when he doesn't ask me. But, cause I have, you know, multiple guitars, basses, drum kits, all of these things. And, they don't even get touched anymore. They don't get touched. So he comes in and takes them, and then like I'll hear him up till like 4 a.m. playing, and he sounds really good. That's the best kind of learning, right? So he has not touched my acoustic guitar. That was a gift. It was one of my birthday gifts from my either birthday or Hanukkah from my wife early on, and it's a gorgeous guitar that he can't play. But I have I don't have an American made one. I have a Mexican Fender Strat. Sunburst. Great guitar. The Pioneer DJ sampler. Yeah, I mean, look, we've all done it. I mean, think about this. I'm gonna go into my Recordbox DDJ 1000. I'm gonna download the drum machine and all the pads and all the kits, and I'm gonna play. And I'm going to play with my XP1. You know how many times I've used this XP1 on a gig? 0 times. 0 times. You know how many times I've used the XP1 at home? Once to make sure things worked. 2, when I found out that they were making an XP2, and it works with Serato and with Recordbox, those sons of bitches. And it pissed me off even more. Never used it again. And it's a really good board. You know what pisses me off the most about this particular board? Honestly. So, and there's nothing wrong with this board, but Serato Studio allows you to use controllers. You can use your hardware controllers. You can use certain keyboards. Like I have an Akai, you know, the little mini MPC. It'll MIDI map to those. You know what it won't MIDI map to? This guy. You know how perfect this guy would be with Serato Studio? All these pads, you got knobs, you got buttons. I don't know why they don't map this guy. If they mapped this guy, I probably wouldn't have even brought my Ableton out again. Honestly. Probably wouldn't have. But they don't. Okay. A couple more, because I do have a 1 o'clock call today. I know we started late. Let's see, what time is my call? Yep, 1 o'clock. Okay. And then I gotta run errands. We're having our Hanukkah Christmaka holiday party we do every year. So we gotta, house is clean, but we gotta just get it party ready. Okay, so in the building, what's going on, fam? Okay. If I had $1 for all the gear I bought and never used, I could buy more gear I don't need. Yeah, I think I've said this. I will say this again. Learn the stuff you have. Learn the gear you have front to back before you buy another piece of gear. Learn your stuff. And then if you are outgrowing it, now you have full understanding of why you need to upgrade. Too many people upgrade thinking, oh, well, if I get this controller, it'll do that thing that I needed to do. And then they don't realize that the controller they have already does that thing. So for instance, I use the, when I'm not using my turntables, I used the DDJ 1000. That was a great controller. Still is a great controller. And then the Rain 1 came out, moving platters, first to do it. It's like, that's something that I can get behind. Moving platters, I love. So, obviously I was sent the Rain 1 and I use it long term. Still have it. Then the Rev 7 came out and it was better. All the weaknesses that the Rain 1 had, and there were glaring weaknesses, still a great controller, but glaring weaknesses. And the Rev 7 fixed all of the issues I had with it. So, that's why I tend to use the Rev 7 more than anything else. But for most people, Kylie Palm in the building, what's going on? For most people, the gear that you have is fine. It is. How many Soundswitch owners are using it regularly? So I use Soundswitch every single weekend. Because it is a set it and forget it kind of application. However, and Mac Joseph, you are correct. The Rain 1 and DJ on iPhone is a great combo. I prefer to use it on my iPad, but still, it is a great combo. Probably works better than any other program out there. Is DJ on the Rain 1. In all honesty, I was looking at and Kylie's works for one of the Maestro that's coming out, the Maestro DMX that's coming out. But my one issue with Soundswitch is it's not easy to make certain changes while working without having to go back into the edit mode and then make some tweaks. Like the simple fact that I can't set a zone from within the control one, like only stay here, the simple fact that there are no dedicated movements, at least none that I've seen, maybe I'm wrong, but there are no dedicated like mover movements. That's a thing for me. And I was talking to a guy, like a WMX guy. He's like a, scholar. Yeah. And he showed me some stuff on there. Very impressive. Now, it seems to me like there's more hands-on with the WMX versus with Soundswitch, but I think a happy medium is okay. So the Maestro is supposed to be coming out soon, and Kylie will be sending me a unit to use and review and give my honest opinion on. And that's non-negotiable, Kylie. We've already discussed this. We can't be friends if you're like, okay, well, here's the link to the retail. It's not going to happen. Can you use Soundswitch and DJ? Yes, you can. It's one of those things that people don't get. It doesn't work for certain things, but it will still have the BPM. So basically in Soundswitch, there is an option to send out a BPM, and to receive BPM information. And in DJ, or in Soundswitch, I'm saying like 40 different things. In DJ, there is an option to turn on the Ableton link. Once you do that, it sends all information to the software, and then it will play fine. Now, what it won't do is if you have any pre-programmed songs, it's not going to play those. Obviously, it's just going to work off of like your auto loops and your auto scripts and things like that. But it's it works, and it works just fine. Yeah, and I will say this: I probably touched DJ more. I'm sorry, I probably touched Soundswitch more with DJ than any other program, because you do have to do more work off of it. So I've never had a problem with touching. And a lot of DJs are like, well, I just want to set it and forget it and just DJ. But in my opinion, for the most part, you can't really set it and forget it. If you're actually DJing and you're trying to bring your visuals to a new level, you're going to have to touch that board. You're going to have to, throw the strobes on and throw the white on and the blackout for effect. Like all of these things have to happen. So you're always going to be touching the controller. You're always going to have to touch the controller. See, this is what happens. I turn my mute on to like yell at my kids, and I did not forget to turn it back on. That's the way it works. So if I got to have some hands-on things in like the WMX1, what I do like about it is you can make changes on the fly. Hey, I want to open up my Prism. I can open up my Prism. Hey, I want to change the gobo that's on the floor. I can change the gobo on the floor. So anyway, so I am not locked to one. Soundswitch is good, and it does great things, but I want a hybrid between the Control One and Lightrider. I want that to be together, and that would be the perfect controller for me. Okay. I just double tap a button and I can manipulate the lights. Okay, but you're also talking about engine lighting, and we know it's different on there, and it works really well on there. I think engine lighting is probably the most intuitive in-controller lighting I've ever seen. Like, it's done so well. For most people, if they can make a whatever Prime 4 update they come out with, better have a DMX out. I need my next Prime 4 to have DMX out in either a USB-C or that can break out to an HDMI or an HDMI. I need to have HDMI on my Prime 4 because that was one of the issues I had with an all-in-one do-everything board. Like you have to do everything, but there are certain things I still can't do. I can't play videos. If I have a montage, I can't output a montage to a screen without having my computer. And if I have to have my computer, it limits me from completely saying, yeah, you can do everything in an all-in-one. You can't do everything in an all-in-one. We're not there yet. We'll get there, but we're not there yet. If I have engine lighting in my hardware, why in the world do I need a dongle to run my lights? Why? I shouldn't. It should have it. The dongle is the controller. I don't need another dongle. So they need to build an output for DMX. Okay, a couple more minutes and then we'll get out of here. Soundswitch released a minor update today. All right, I'll check it out. Makes sense because Engine OS had an update too, so they probably had to fix something with Engine OS. So okay. Okay. All right. I think we're good. It's almost 1:00. I got a 1:00 call happening. Next controller will have dedicated stem control on it. Yeah. I think look, everybody knows. And you know, every controller that comes out after this point better have some sort of stem buttons. Better have them. If they don't, it's going to be a problem. I mean, look, the Rain 4 they can't even release a Rain product without people getting mad at them that it doesn't have moving platters. They have 2 devices. The Rain 12s and the Rain 1, which really just came out. And people are like, oh, it doesn't have moving platters. I don't want it. It sucks. Why would they do that? It's not like they've been making moving platters all the time. They have one controller with moving platters. Now we're saying that all they can make is moving platter controllers. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I think that if a product's good, the product's good. I think what's going on is I think they're trying to streamline what products do what for what company. I think for the long time, they just didn't know. They were throwing everything in everywhere, For instance, look, we got Newmark, we got Denon, and we got Rain. Newmark, clearly entry-level products. Good quality entry-level products, but entry-level products. We got Engine, Denon, which is going to be all of your all-in-ones. And then, some of the high-end stuff, but I think it's going to end up ultimately just being all of their all-in-one controllers, that do everything. And then you have Rain. And I believe the Rain is going to be the pioneer DJ of gear. Everything DJ related that requires a computer is going to fall into there. Anything that's over $1,000 is going to fall into there. That's just my guess, though. I'm not for sure. Who knows? Ruben says, if you have 3 events over 3 days at the same, I guess, venue, how would you handle your gear and possibly leaving things behind? I've done it before, only with venues that I absolutely trust and that I know they'll lock down. But a lot of times I've broken down my gear and just moved it into a lockable room, and then come there at the same time and then reset it up. But I've actually done events where I'm in a place and I know they lock up and I've left my stuff there. I always bring my computer home with me. Always. Gear you can replace. Computers, it's a lot more work. So yeah. Rain screwed up on the Rain 4, says Mac Joseph. Yes and no. The only reason why they screwed up is because they did a piss poor job of managing expectations. That's the only reason. Because the controller itself is a very good controller. Would it have been great and probably the perfect controller if it had moving platters? I think so. And I told them that. But they have a vision for their future. So it's almost like rip the Band-Aid off early and let people know that we're not just making controllers and gear that have moving platters. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I know that where there's Rain controllers, there's Pioneer controllers that are coming out. Where Pioneer hasn't really released anything of substance for this year, which means that it's probably next year. So since it is probably next year, you're going to see a lot of head-to-heads. you know, and may the best one win. And look, there's no such thing as really a best. It's just a preference thing. It's what you like, what works for you. Once you get over a certain amount of money, all the controllers are good. You know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, this year. I mean, I'm completely fine having a Rain 4 and a Rain 4M, with moving platters. Totally fine with that. Totally fine with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Why shouldn't they do that? So we'll see. It's going to be heavy. Going to be heavy though. Anyway, all right. We have like 2 more minutes and then I got to get on this call. Making sure that there's nothing that that I need to answer. Oh, gotcha, Carly. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Have I answered everybody's question? Matt Savage says, only time I don't use Soundswitch is when I have certain one case instances where they want multicolor uplights. Well, I mean, you can do that if you really want. It's not hard to just, create multiple instances of your moving lights and then just change like, every other one, but I get it though. I get it. There's so much more we can do that we don't because we're DJs and we only have so much time to just sit around and, make things look perfect. If any DJ that ever talks trash to me, I get a lot of trash talkers, especially on IG and stuff. But any DJ that ever talks trash and it's like, well, I do this and I do this and I do that. I'm always like, well, how many gigs do you have? Because if you're a true working DJ and you work every weekend and you're on the phone talking to clients all the time, you don't have time to do all this stuff. It's all about efficiency. It's about providing the best case system, lighting, everything, communication, all that stuff needs to be efficient. Because when you have 500 events a year, you got to be efficient. Those people that have, I do parties 2-3 times a month. You got plenty of time to do stuff. Plenty of time. I don't. I do not. All right. Anyway. Okay. Light Rider is great, but mixing to new songs seems to throw Link off. I haven't experienced that. Maybe change it to audio and use. I find that the microphones in the iPads are really, really good for that. So, I put that in there. Anyway, it is now 1:01 and I'm late for my call. So I do have to go. Make sure you guys follow me on my IGs, follow me on, all of my social media. Check out my last video from the Mackies to understand how you can be eligible to win a full DJ setup with DJ controller. Does not get any better than that. So make sure you check that out. And then I have another video coming out today about the X5 U4 in-ear monitors. Super quick video. But we'll make it happen. So guys, girls, always a pleasure. But I gotta run. I will see you guys next week. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and I will see you guys next week. All right, peace out. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Man, I'm so clean.